Go on. Go on.
What do you want from me?
Tell them good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good night.
This will be coming out on a Monday. It's being recorded on a Wednesday.
Pre-record.
Because I'm in Scotland for the weekend.
He's going away.
For 4 days.
And he's taking little Mark with him.
And that might be why you're hearing Connor's voice rather than Ash's, because Ash is a difficult man to get hold of during the weekdays, and so Steph. So
Ash is a family
here
man.
we are.
Steph's just not here.
So Connor's the backup.
Mug.
Yeah, the backup of the backup.
Look, I've been here more than Ash now. At this rate.
Ash is 1 week and then you're the next week.
Yeah.
That's how the new schedule's taking
we can't
place.
all be together.
Nice cold glass of water. Nearly died. It's a nice dynamic because obviously you play all the weird shit.
Oh, right.
I mean, you can fucking add that little bit of extra spice to it.
The weird shit that you've started playing.
Yeah.
D&D, Baldur's Gate.
All the fucking, all the mainstream weird stuff.
You haven't started Warhammer yet, so that's...
I remember...
I don't know if you're... Well, even sometimes it's a bit too nerdy for me, but...
I played Warhammer... What was the one that was on PlayStation that was like the FPS?
Darktide?
Darktide,
was the more
that's
recent
one.
It's still going.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good when it first came out. I picked it up when it first dropped, but then it almost immediately came to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a...
That's where I played it, was from Game Pass.
Screw loose, but like I think I said it to you before, that it wasn't worth playing on your own.
No.
Because it's not worth playing with randoms, because there's 4 classes, each one's got a dedicated role, so you've essentially got a sniper, a tank, and then 2 sort of damage dealers. One was a zealot, I forget what the last one was, but so one of them had like magic powers, another one was like a melee brawler, and
he was the big geezer, wasn't he?
No, that was the tank style one. So there was 2 that essentially did melee. There was one that did sort of like AoE style stuff, and there was one that was single target DPS.
I don't know. I only ever played the tank.
No, the problem with it was that essentially you didn't necessarily have to have each single one. So like one of each for the 4-party slot. So you could have 4 of the tanks, which were just big lumbering units. The problem was I ended up playing the sniper, and if you had 3 other party members that were the big fat lads, you couldn't get a line of sight on anything.
Decent.
Because their whole point was to run in and get
in the way,
get the aggro of the chaff. But there were so many like elite units that you as the DPS were meant to be hitting, and you couldn't, because friendly fire was, if you shot your friends, you weren't necessarily doing damage to them, but they were soaking up your rounds.
Yeah.
And ammo was finite.
Yeah, you was wasting.
So you was just shooting into the back of your mate's head.
I never played it for that long, but I sort of enjoyed. It was in that weird phase, where you're just flicking through games trying to find something that hits a bit different.
I think it was definitely like, if you had a group of people that you wanted to play with, I think you'd have a better time. Even with randoms, we weren't having a bad time, but we weren't doing high level stuff.
I wonder how it's doing now.
I think it's had a new DLC
release
on it, but I haven't followed it because, again, I didn't really have anyone that was going to pick it up even on Game Pass to actually commit to it, and I think it had quite a bit of a flawed release when it came out.
I feel like Warhammer on a whole isn't something I've ever been massively interested in, which is odd because I really like figures. Like collector's edition figures, things like figures of characters and all that shit.
Yeah.
Which, not that I've fucking, other than Funko Pops.
Yeah, you haven't really got actual like minifigs.
Yeah, I haven't got much going on, but I always like the look. Like Black Series and shit's never going to be my bank, because I would like to. Weirdly, how like I'm an inbox Funko collector, but if I had Black Series, I'd want to take them out.
If you actually had something you could play with and pose up and stylize out.
But all of the Mirage Collector's Edition obviously has a Basim statue. That's upstairs in Steph's room.
Is this just the... Oh no, there is some weight in that box.
So. Yeah, it's got all the stuff in it. Literally everything's in there other than the fucking...
empty Funko.
Other than the statue,
boxes.
Yeah, my little protector. So, like I used to work in a skate park, and the guy that ran it, he was heavy into Warhammer. They had like a dedicated room upstairs where every like Saturday, loads of them would go upstairs, and they'd like set it all up. And he tried showing me a couple of bits before, and the thing that blew me away the most was how fucking expensive them figures are.
Yeah,
Jesus
you can look
Christ.
from anywhere from, I think the cheapest single models are about £18 currently.
Yeah.
And then that goes up to anywhere to, if you buy, essentially there's two sides of Games Workshop, which has been streamlined now, but it used to be two separate sites, and now it's one, is the resin kits where you can get big, they're probably as big as this gorilla in front of me of just sheer resin, and like one part of it is like £1,000.
Yeah.
And that's just for like a head.
Yeah.
Or an arm or a leg.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You know, it's definitely it is a very expensive.
And then you got to fucking paint that after.
Yeah.
So if you fuck that up,
you can restart.
How? If you paint a figure and I fuck it up, so say with the D&D
any of the
figures,
minis
any of the minis, say I get one for Druim.
Broom.
Druim?
Druim. We're not having this debate
Druim.
again.
If I get something for that, which is going to be unpainted, I then paint that.
Yep.
If I fuck that up,
yeah, you can use like paint thinners to strip it completely back to the plastic if you wanted to, or you can just, like, the benefit is you can just paint over it. If you don't like it, you can repaint it. So long as you, like, there's the joke in the community is thin your paints, because there's some bad things out there where people have literally just, like, think rental property, like, light switches where it's just everything's white out.
Just straight over, yeah.
Like, you can do that and you can completely ruin minis, but all you do is you just get, paint thinner or white spirit, just leave the little fucker in there.
I just ain't got the artistic flair to fucking do it.
I think you'd be alright at it. I think it'd be the initial stage. Like, even I'm not that good at it, but it's one of those things that if you do enough of it and you find things that you like to paint, like I did quite a few of the D&D minis, and I did some in a rush before I ended up playing with my other group, and they're not that great to look at. And even the one I did for Ash, like, it's passable at a level of, truthfully, it's the 3 foot rule. If you're standing up at a table as far away as this one in front of us now is, that
plus Ash has got goggly colour blind eyes, and so he ain't fucking seeing anything wrong with his figures.
He didn't even know what colour he was.
He ain't got a fucking clue. You're sweet.
So, but yeah, it's there is an element of, if you get a 3D printer up and going, you can save yourself quite a bit of money, but at the same time, it's
the initial outlay is fucking expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive to have a 3D printer, and sometimes it's expensive to run it. But if you're truthfully looking at, a pack of 10 guys from Games Workshop costs you 30, 40 quid. You could save yourself, and you could make that for those same amount for pence, 20p or something. They're about that sort of value, but there isn't a lot of, if you're going to take that professionally, like to a tournament, people don't like that, and they don't like you having proxy models, because it's elitist, essentially, because you've not paid the money to Games Workshop.
So you fucking,
you can't use that.
You can't join in the competition.
If you're, it all needs to be direct mainline stuff. Whereas if you're doing home games, you can use whatever you want, and that's the same for.
I wonder how that would work on a like, obviously Daryl goes to a couple Pokemon tournaments. I wonder if you could make your own Pokemon cards that still follow the exact same as everything else. They're just
proxy ones.
They're just made yourself. I wonder if that would fucking work.
If you've got very good, the hardest part for 3D printing is finding the print files. So if you had something like, there's a load of stuff out there. Like in Warhammer, like I like Space Marines, I like Imperial Guard, but I also like, I've got some Tyranids and bits and pieces of other ones, and Imperial Knights, and there's a lot of decent stuff out there. That my pal collects Orcs, and there's enough stuff that could be very close, but at the same time, there's a lot of them, because they're trying to avoid copyright infringement, that everything looks very similar, but there is differences in it
tweaks
that you would be able to look at it and go, that's not a GW model.
Yeah.
That would then tweak to, if you can get things like recasts, which also is a grey area of illegality in terms of people have copied Games Workshop stuff, is that if you can't tell, then sure, but some people are so anal on it and up on it that they can pick apart your minis and your models.
I can't imagine anything nerdier than going to a Warhammer like
event
tournament
and someone telling you to fuck off
yeah,
because
you got fake fucking figures. Jesus Christ!
It is a sheer level of sweat that I couldn't go to it. Like I've only played home games. Like there's no way I could go to a tournament to play that kind of stuff. And even then, I've done it. And the first time I've played it since I was about 8 or sort of that sort of age, that it took most of the day just to do a few rounds.
I don't think I could do a tournament in fucking anything. To be fair,
no, it's far too intense, and there's far too many. Even when like Daryl went to the Pokemon stuff, I feel like there's far too many.
He was being beaten by all the children.
Sweaty people like power up.
He was being beaten by all the children, and there's just a group chat going off with him, going, "These fucking kids, I fucking lost again, cunts."
Yeah, there's too many people that make that their almost life for me to, as a very casual player, to want to turn up to. That. Whereas I'm much more happy to. If there's 40k games or any sort of Warhammer game, like there's Total War games, there's one I was playing more recently, Demon's Gate, was it? No, something like that. Demon's Gate Chaos Hunters or something, where you play essentially beefed up Space Marines Grey Knights, and you just go around in an XCOM style, hunting down monsters and Xenos and things like that, all while you're doing some sort of overarching mission. And it plays very much like XCOM, and it's the only one since Darktide that I've kind of followed at the minute, and it's not been too bad, but I've taken a little break from it because it can be very intense. You're right there.
I was just trying to think of XCOM.
You look a little bit lost.
Because I tried to play XCOM when I had the season, the fucking Game Pass.
There's a few versions of them. What have they changed it to now? The more recent, because there was old school ones which I never really played, and apparently they were mental in terms of difficulty. It was just punishing. Yeah, the whole game was just you're gonna get fucked over one way or another. And then they released Enemy Unknown or something like that, and there was another one like The Bureau, which was a bit of a weird one. It was almost like RTS. Yeah,
I remember The Bureau.
But no, XCOM's an enjoyable game. It's just one of those turn-based strategy ones that if you got your head in the right game for it.
That's probably why I didn't fucking get on with it, because it's turn-based strategy.
Yeah,
I'm not strategic.
Of strategy style games.
It's not my cup of tea, because it's like everyone in the Discord at the moment. Well, I say everyone. There's a couple of people that are hollering about Manor Lords.
Yeah, I picked that up.
Which I know you've been playing a little bit of.
A few days ago, I played 2 hours of it, I think, which is it's not bad. I feel like it's a blend of
like Civilization.
Not Civ. It's definitely not like Civ, because that's massively micromanage everything. Whereby I'm trying to think the best way to explain it.
Sims.
Sort of. That you need to get good at Civ to know what you're doing. You need to play quite a lot of it to know the way that things work. So you get, when you first start out, you've picked a nation that has specific skills. So like if you pick Britain, which is an option, you later game you get very good navy that can then have additional abilities, and every different nation has different stats that you kind of need to focus on and decide what your end goal victory is going to be, because there's so many different options you can do. Ones from conquest victories where you just take over everyone's capitals and everyone's cities, or you can do like financial victories where just you have so much money you can just buy everything and buy people out. You can have like cultural victories where you've just amassed so much like fanatical following.
They're just not my kind of game whatsoever.
I've spent quite a lot of time in Civ. I think it was Civ 5 with some of my pals and in the past.
Yeah, but you would, because you're fucking nerd. You know what I mean? Like you're nerd.
All right, I'll go now then. See you later.
Such a nerd. Just a sweaty, ginger, middle-aged nerd.
I'm not middle-aged, so you can. I'm 1 year old. I'm 1 year older than you, so.
Yeah, you just like them nerdy games.
Yeah, but
it's fair enough.
Thing is, sometimes it's more. I wouldn't say Civ is peaceful, but Manor Lord's got an element of peacefulness to it, where in a sense that it's a blend of, if you ever played a game like City Skylines, which was a city sim.
And then you got, what is that? Tropico?
Tropico,
that's
something
one.
or other. That was another. I never played that one, but that is another style of game that I've, in the 2 hours I put into Manor Lords, it's very intense. Because there is a lot going on straight away, and it does not hold your hand in terms of what you need to be doing.
Is Manor Lords a full release?
No, it's another early access.
Fuck me.
Everything's early access.
I know. We've just done a whole fucking. Last week's episode was quite heavy on early access.
But that's the way things are now. That truthfully, I think I'd rather have early access for some stuff, because you can still play the game and help the developer. Because at Manor Lords, I think when you first start it up, it says, "Look, I'll be making this game for 7 years," and I think it's one man who's doing it. So truthfully, bide your time and help him out.
I love that early access is basically just like what betas used to be, but on a much more prolonged scale. Which sometimes it helps people, and other times it hit. You look at something like Star Citizen.
Oh God!
You know what I mean? Like, fuck me. How long has that been in early access for? I don't even think that's out of alpha yet.
No, I'm not. I don't think so.
And you can spend literal thousands of pounds.
The difference has been though that there is all the alphas and the betas. Is that everything used to be closed betas before, and you had to have signed up within a specific time.
World of Warcraft's like that.
You had to be within a specific group. You had to either be, in the know, or you had to be a gaming channel or something like
World
that.
World of Warcraft is still like that.
Yeah, someone would give you a key to say, come and join our closed beta for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And we're going to iron out the kinks. Whereas, the amount of closed betas I feel like I've actually participated in, or even open betas that all of a sudden they just release and say, "Oh, we got an open beta for a week, get on it," and you're there on the last day going, "What? I didn't even know this was about," and you wanted to play it. Whereas now everything's early access, which means it's open to the public. Then, truthfully, money's being invested in the game because you've had to buy it anyway, or bought it at a discount. That it's then influx of money into the company to make it
better,
so that they can essentially finish their game, which is a bit weird, because you think, well, if you're not ready to release a game and you haven't got the money to release a game, don't.
I've been playing WoW since the Burning Crusade, or
how much money have you put into?
And I've never ever, of every single expansion bar 2 that I didn't play, have got beta access at all, ever. And so many other people kick off about it. But the people that do get the fucking beta access are people like streamers and fucking anyone that makes some kind of content visually. Always ends up.
You're going to start a What's the Buttons Twitch profile.
Well, it's just annoying, man. Like I get, I understand it,
wow,
but it's like when you've spent all that money and supported for that long, and it's because obviously the War Within's coming out this year, and the beta access sign-ups went live last week, maybe a little bit before.
Yeah, but you're not invited.
Yeah, I'm not invited. I've fucking signed up twice. Don't get fuck all from it. No one in the Discord has got fuck all from it. No one in the guild has got fuck all from it. It's like, who are they handing the keys out to? I don't understand. It's very frustrating.
Friends and family and all the people that are technically
it's just annoying, man. Because I'd love to be a part of it. Because I feel like with most games, you're not going to bother fucking actually reporting, I just want to play the beta. But I feel like something like WoW that's going to be impactful, because like I'm going to play this almost every day, I'll take it seriously. Yeah. That's where like the early access stuff, what you almost got to be careful of now is where early access is so easily becoming the norm, and in most ways is a very positive outlay to get a game that's not struggling but needs that little bit of a bump. I feel like you're going to get more and more people using that as an excuse for a fucking mediocre game.
Yeah.
And go, oh, you can't say anything bad about it because it's early access.
Still needs to be a level of criticism.
We can't review this. It's early access. You go, every fucking game's early access. Someone's got to say something.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. It's truthfully, it shouldn't be above criticism, because that's the only way that games grow and get better. But you shouldn't, at the same time, you shouldn't be able to tear it down and say, oh well, it's shit because it's early access. Because
I think when
everything starts somewhere.
Yeah, last week when me and Ash were chatting about it, I think we just settled on the idea that it just has to be constructive criticism as opposed to
Oh, yeah,
just
you can't
straight
just
up
yeah.
fucking ripping it out.
This game's shit. Don't buy it. It's
Yeah.
fucking, I put 2 hours into this game and it's shit.
Because
You
there's
haven't even bothered to get past the intro or anything.
what's that game? Have you seen that game that recently come out? It's you're a crab. You seen that? You're a
No,
crab,
I
and
don't
it's
think I've
like
seen that one.
Souls like.
Souls like crab.
What was it
game.
called?
I
I'll have to
haven't seen
Google it
that.
because it looked
No.
really interesting. I'm gonna fucking kick myself for not knowing. I think it's like a proper stupid name. Souls like.
If in doubt, become crab.
Crab game. It is called
Yeah, that sounds weird.
Another Crab's Treasure.
No.
Another Crab's
yeah,
Treasure, which is on Steam at the
Of course
moment
it is.
for
There's just the smattering of just anything and everything on Steam.
very positive reviews. 93%
Well,
out of
That's good at
1,868.
least.
It is on for $24.29 at the moment. What have we
How
got?
much?
24.29.
Too much money. Wow.
Is that too much money, you reckon?
Well, it's a crab game.
We don't know what it is yet. Look at the crab. I mean, don't fucking...
So it's been made in MS Paint.
Reviews, IGN.
Oh, IGN have reviewed it, yeah.
Another Crab's Treasure is so clever and
Oh,
wonderfully
fuck.
ridiculous that it's absolutely worth your time. PC
Of
Gamer,
course it
the
is.
most fun I've had with a Souls-like since Elden Ring. Everything about Another Crab's Treasure just works. It feels like it was made with a general love for the game genre, but a desire to do something new. About this game, Another Crab's Treasure is a Souls-like adventure set in a crumbling underwater world. As Krill the Hermit Crab, you'll need to wear the trash around you as shells to withstand attacks from enemies many times your size. Embark on an epic treasure hunt to buy back your repossessed shell and discover the dark secrets behind the polluted ocean.
What is this indie title?
It looks fucking... Here we go. Poise breaking, Dark Souls difficulty, fish puns. This is an absolutely great game. Worth celebrating.
Ugh.
Jesus
Sounds like it's up your
Christ.
street then when you've got something you can't be bothered to
So-
be bothered to play well, so you're
Solid-
gonna play
Solid
bloody
20
crab
hours
game.
Souls-like, fun and funny, proof of carcinization? Carcinization? I don't know if
Yeah,
that...
it's everything evolves into a crab long term.
Another oh, this is quite a juicy one. Strong humour, low stakes, and a good deal of fun. Another Crab's Treasure is that perfect 7 out of 10 experience. It's tough to find anything more than minor grievances, yet you'd be equally hard pressed to find anything extraordinarily worthy of rapturous acclaim. Combat is fast, fun, and flashy, but underpinned by a noticeable lack of enemy variety, systems that awkwardly overlap and supersede one another, and a catalogue of bosses that once you've seen one, you've seen somewhat them all. The narrative is brilliantly satirical and similarly charming, with a surprisingly dark and mature but equally excellent final act. However, a world that doesn't take itself all that seriously engenders a similarly apathetic response, and the seascape's general lack of immersion doesn't entirely gel with the story sparse, exploration heavy nature of the Souls-like subgenre. Everything works to varying efficacy throughout Krill's 10 to 15 hour journey, yet there's almost always a little something missing, a little something off, or a little something that doesn't quite fit, and those little somethings culminate into a crackling Souls-like, no doubt, but one unlikely to end up as an essential pillar of the genre. See? Best fucking review that you can have.
Wow, someone's invested.
What it looks like,
Someone's been playing that on their Steam Deck.
it looks like Souls-like SpongeBob. It does.
SpongeBob,
It
me
does.
boy.
I can't really zoom
Does
in,
it?
but look, fucking, they're just fighting crabs and shit.
Okay, fair enough.
It does look
Well,
decent,
I
genuinely.
don't think I'll be buying it, but okay, you can.
Why don't you like it?
I think I'd rather spend 25 quid on.
Yeah, but you don't like Souls-like, so do you?
Not well.
You're a bit scared of them.
I do, but I've been so far out of the loop with them that they're not.
You're just comfy with your little fucking...
I'm comfortable.
Simulators,
I haven't got
know what I
time to get good anymore.
A fucking can of Coke for your shell.
Oh,
It's decent.
God.
Yeah, but you don't need to. Would you? You can't be asked to get angry.
Pretty much.
You're
Yeah,
You're-
I'm angry at work with you.
you're like me in a sense of you don't want to get angry at the game and it pisses you off. However, the difference between you and me in that sense is I get so wound up I refuse to not do it. The stubbornness overtakes the fucking anger. I go, I'm gonna have to do it because it's pissing me off too much.
Oh yeah, I can do it. I just don't. I can't be asked to come home after everything and then be like, I'm gonna be angry at a game for 2 hours before I go to bed.
I love it. I love it and I hate it. Like fucking Melania.
Yeah,
This is pissing me off to my highest point, and it's going to ruin the rest of the day. So I must do it. And then once I do it, it's ruined the rest of the day because I'm so pissed off. Either way, I'm getting fucked up. But I would have done it.
Nah, I'm all right.
Like Steph said before, she's like, I don't know how you can just sit there for hours on end, the same shit happening, and still play this. I go, because I can't stop. I can't. But 9 times out of 10, if I force myself to stop and I come back like the following day in a couple of hours, fresh brain, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I finished 1 and I finished 3, and I haven't touched Elden Ring because I can't remember what released around the same time as Elden Ring, but I never really picked it up.
I know that Horizon Forbidden West was released alongside Elden Ring.
Yeah,
I believe.
I wasn't on that. I don't know what I was on at the time, but I just, it's one
Online
of those
Monopoly.
I might go online Monopoly. Yeah, great. Something Mark will be playing. But yeah, no, it's those Souls games. I do like them, and I like the lore and everything in them. But sitting down and slogging them out is not something I can play other stuff that's probably a little bit more up my street in the limited time that I've got.
Yeah, I think
truthfully,
something like Elden Ring just had that weird capture. I don't know what it was. I think it might have been also sort of like the hype surrounding it, and every video you was watching was to do with Elden Ring. So it's almost like the Helldivers trap as well, where Helldivers is very good, but ultimately it's very samey at the same time. But where so many people are fucking invested in it, you feel like part of a community.
Yeah.
So it's like, even though I'm doing this thing sort of like in my bedroom on my own or whatever, or at home on my own doing fucking whatever, you're part of something much larger. And I think that sort of same shit resonated with Elden Ring, especially with the PvP side of it, for that blissful fucking like 2 or 3 months of playing it. Same with Hogwarts Legacy as well, man. When that first come out,
bloody Hogwarts.
Have you played it?
No.
Shut up then.
I've got no interest.
You ain't got
in
a fucking
it.
clue. What an incredible game.
Fuck that.
Why?
Specky Harry Potter.
Why?
Game.
You don't play Harry Potter though. You make your own person. You make your own character.
Yeah, fuck that.
No. Why?
I don't like the setting, to be honest. I don't care for the setting.
What, Hogwarts?
Yeah. I don't know why. I just don't vibe with it. I don't know why. I like fantasy stuff, but I don't like Hogwarts wizards.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't. I feel like it was so
missing out.
I don't know. It's not dark enough for me. Like, you've got wizards and they're just like, I know there's like your forbidden spells and stuff like that, but there's not enough of that shit for me.
Yeah, it weren't.
Like, everything's very like, because it's truthfully it's quite kiddie. I know it isn't, but
gonna annoy people.
Good.
It's not kiddie. It's
a child's book.
No, it's whimsical. I agree. It weren't as dark as it could have been, but it was a good old fucking.
Look, give that
crack.
boy the bloody Avada Kedavra straight in the head.
It could
get rid of him.
It could. It was fun. It was fun to fucking do that. Problem is that there was no repercussion of using them. Like you. These were like forbidden spells and fucking only Voldemort will use these. And then here I am doing it to like a frog. And it's like there's no some
little goblin.
Yeah, there's no repercussion to what I've just used like for no reason, like absolutely no reason, and nothing's happened. So it's like suddenly these awful forbidden but very powerful spells are no longer that fucking, like, they're still powerful, but they're not naughty anymore, because you can't. It'd be like in Skyrim if fucking every time you robbed something, nothing happened.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm not getting the fun out of this anymore, am I?
Yeah. No, it's just never that whole section of everything. The books didn't appeal to me, the films didn't appeal to me, and the game didn't appeal to me. So it's.
I want a Lord of the Rings game,
yes,
please. I want a decent one. You want
Go away,
Oh,
Darcy.
someone,
I'm not
is
answering.
that Darcy?
Yeah, he's ringing me.
Fucking
I'm
hell.
not answering.
At fucking
Yeah.
4 o'clock, yeah?
4 o'clock on the dot. Ringing
Need
me.
a crack rock. Fucking hell.
I'm just going to lob my phone
Well, this is
out.
podcast time, not
Podcast
fucking
time.
work
Darcy,
time.
go
Fucking,
away.
Go away.
Leave me alone.
You want... I wish that fucking Nemesis system wasn't patterned.
Yeah.
I'd
Something like that would be
why
great.
why you
Shadow
would
War style.
take a Nemesis system like that and then say, this is fantastic, this is one of the best things that we've ever created, no one can use it and we're not going to use it anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to use it for 2 games, improve it on the second game tenfold, and then no one can use it.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to do anything with it. So thank you. See
Thing
ya.
is, would you want something with a dedicated cast like from the Lord of the Rings? So with Legolas, Boromir, Aragorn, and your man Gimli,
Yeah.
or would you want it to be sort of like? Do you remember Third Age? Which it was a turn-based one as well, but it was
Third Age rings a bell. I don't remember
it.
it.
Was very much like some of the middle ground like Final Fantasies, where the combat was turn-based and it was like you had your lineup, but then the rest of it you could run around.
Yeah.
You could run around Moria and stuff like that, and there was different sections that sort of mirrored the first film and like the second film, and it had its own unique characters. I think even the main character was looking for Boromir or something. That was the whole tie-in. But so you had unique and new characters, or would you want the ability to make your own character for the Lord of the Rings world? Because the problem with trying to have an ensemble cast is you have to have named characters.
Yeah.
And what do you actually want out of a Lord of the Rings game?
You got to go down an MMO route, haven't you? Really?
Yeah. Well, there is a Lord of the Rings MMO.
I know, but it's not fucking updated.
It's not up to scratch. You just want a new MMO-y style, probably like Elder Scrolls style, Elder Scrolls Online, but like WoW quality, but Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, kind of. I'd want to keep the WoW style of combat and everything. I don't think I'd want to switch over to ESO because then I feel like at that point you're just Skyrim, aren't you?
Sort of. I suppose, yeah, that's true.
I would want... Yeah, man. There's no one that's ever going to take up that space because...
there's no... WoW is the MMO.
Yeah, if it hasn't been done... If
But then I don't know if I'd want... WoW with a Lord of the Rings skin.
I'll tell you what, no. I wouldn't want an MMO. I would want a single player Lord of the Rings game, and I would want it to be a specific storyline that somehow would tie something
like Shadow of War, but not.
But beefier. I feel
a
like
bit more than the small. Who made that? I can't even remember who made that.
What, Shadow of War?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, we spoke about that before as well.
I know it was under. Was it under Ubisoft in the end, or was it
Shadow?
But either way, yeah, I get it because Shadow of War was good. The Shadow games were good, and they were very unique, and they actually had decent, unique. They were very like kind of a bit plain, but they did have decent characters in it. Like Talion was a decent idea, and the whole like union he had with Celebrimbor was very good.
Yeah, it was very. Warner Brother Games were the publisher, and then Monolith Productions were the developer.
WB.
And then they fucking patented the Nemesis system.
Yeah, it's a shame because that was quite clever.
It was very fucking clever, and it's never been duplicated. No one's ever done anything close to that. And yeah, I feel like I would. Yeah, I'd want to sing. Kind of like on the same par of something like God of War or The Last of Us, like that type of sort of deep storytelling.
Yeah, I'm feeling the God of War
in Lord of the Rings, and like you have there's so much lore involved in that you can you can explore. You stay away from the movies because I think they need to be left alone as their own gems. You haven't got to adapt a game from that. It's already been done. many moons ago.
So many of those films.
Many years ago,
filmed
just
games.
the Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah. Even that was good.
Yeah, it was very good, very fucking good. So if you could just pick, I don't know what you would really run with. It would be quite nice to see more of like the dwarven side of things, but then you kind of had that explored with the Hobbit.
What have you got? There's that silly, terrible Moria game that came out that wasn't very good.
Oh, the survival.
Yeah.
That fucking flopped straight down, didn't it?
What was that? Oh, is there another one?
Which was annoying because it had fucking John Rhys Davies as one of the fucking voice actors in it.
I'd like to get to my wish list, please.
And it just fucking flopped.
Where are you? There it is. I don't know if it's specifically for... Where are you? You're around here. Return to Nangrim. If it'll let me open it. But the signal here is terrible.
Oh yeah, you're not on the Wi-Fi, you're not on the old Wi-Fi.
I'm not.
Wi-Fi
because
spiffy.
I'm just a guest.
Sorry.
I'm not a
Not regular.
Just a little scummo.
What other fucking storylines could you roll with?
Yeah, I don't know. It's...
Because the Mines of Moria and all that kind of stuff, I think that dwarven side of things is always, I feel like, explored in that sort of fantasy world.
Every
The
man wants to be a dwarf.
Yeah, they're a big part of that industry. Hobbits, I don't think hold enough essence to fucking
Not really.
captivate anyone. They're not. Elves have been fucking overdone.
Yeah. You just have to be men.
just people, just innocent men.
Just innocent men. You just have to be
Because you got
human man.
You got Aragorn,
Rohirrim or Gondorian. You'd essentially have to be
which would be a cool storyline, a cool lore
like
to
maybe,
Riders of Rohirrim.
Yeah.
That esque.
Maybe if they did something along the lines of, the arrival from Numenor, like essentially, or maybe something to do with, their takeover of Middle Earth, or even the Rohirrim side of it,
or Gandalf side to it. The wizard side of Lord of the Rings, because I feel like that isn't actually explored.
No, it's quite
all too much. It's quite vague.
Yeah, the films keep it very loose for the fact he is essentially angelic.
Here's some wizards.
Yeah,
they're the most powerful beings you've ever met. We're not going to show you exactly how they got to be being how they were. Oh, by the way, Gandalf actually died here and was then fucking resurrected, and we're not going to show you any of that of how that actually happened. But he's now white. It's very that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not fucking digging it, because I feel like in the movies it doesn't need to be explored. They do a very good enough job of just throwing that in. You fucking
piece it all together.
Too much other shit going on. You love it.
Yeah, I definitely remember as a kid I didn't understand what was going on and why he made a reappearance in the second film. I was like, I don't know.
I still don't understand now. I've no fuck. All I know is that it was like, it wasn't my time. So what? Okay, but what brought you back?
Because he's a demigod. That's the whole...
Well, Gandalf, yeah.
Gandalf's basically a angelic figure in the universe.
Yeah.
And the god creator of it said, well, like, yeah, you need to be fixing Middle Earth now because you're one of the only ones left.
Mm. Yeah, you got to sort this out.
Yeah, it's essentially what
So
happened.
it would be so incredible to roll with that one. Come away from the dwarves, come away from elves, even come away from the human side of it. Because as cool as like Rohirrim and all of that would be, I feel like that's an easy pathway to go down as well, because it's just humans with swords. Whereas
we're making another fantasy.
Yeah, whereas
we're making another medieval fantasy style game, but we're giving it Lord of the Rings skin.
Something down the wizardry aspect of it, where you're forced into that ranged aspect of it. Every now and then you can fucking fry in the melee with fucking white staff and bang bang bang. That would be really cool.
You wouldn't take an old man's staff.
Walking stick. But that's just a spitball there that I'm sure has been fucking balled up and thrown around a million times before.
I think it's difficult where Lord of the Rings is such a big thing as well to actually make a definitive plot line in a definitive game, because they can go quite... The Shadow games were almost very throwaway in the world.
Yeah.
But they don't make that much difference.
No.
Ultimately. There is... In the plot that they run, it does kind of hold as a lot of sway, but truthfully,
There's some lore involved with
it's
it.
It's not that deep overall.
But I feel like Star Wars runs into that issue of they're so monumental. If you were to create something like a game alongside that, it's going to be so harshly critiqued that it has to be decent.
Yeah.
You look at the current Star Wars games, or even like Outlaws that's
I was going to say, I literally was looking
coming
at when
out.
Outlaws was coming out, and that's in late August.
Yeah. And that will be heavily fucking knocked, 100%.
They're already banging on it at the minute, even for the main character, just because she's a woman.
Yeah, pretty much. Because there's a bunch of sweaty Star Wars nerds.
Yeah, sweaty nerds are doing it again. I'm sure there'd be sweaty nerds for... Well, it's just nerds. Nerds are horrible. Round them up and kill them.
But any Star Wars... There goes the fan base.
Yeah.
Any Star Wars games they do have that critic around it, because you have such a loving fan base of such a big IP.
People just want stuff that reflects their
love for it.
Yeah, their love for it.
And I'd be exactly the same. And Gollum was fucking awful. I was waiting so long for that. I thought this was going to be fucking decent, and then you do get annoyed when it comes out. You go, "This is shit."
What's this?
Because this isn't what I love.
Graphics.
Yeah, this is absolute bollocks. You could have slapped Unreal Engine 5 graphics on it. It's still wank. It's like that's not.
Hang on, let me get them Kong.
Yeah,
King Kong still frames.
That's not what. Oh, that was crazy. That shit. That was fucking. That was ridiculous.
It's around the same time.
And the fact that was like 50, 60 quid as well is even more fucking mental. That's just a straight up cash grab.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, maybe that's why it's difficult. But at the same time, you also have, from an innovation point of view, you want studios to make games that are detached from the mainstream.
I was literally about to say there's too many games that are reliant on mainstream IPs to like Assassin's Creed is too reliant on the AC tag, like Valhalla, Odyssey, Origins is too reliant on that tag. All the Star Wars games are a little bit too reliant on Star Wars.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed, drop it.
And then even, it's nice, well, a lot of games are like that. There's probably why people don't want to touch a Lord of the Rings game, because they don't want to slap a Lord of the Rings title on it.
Yeah.
Truthfully, whereas it's easier to, well, it's not even easy to come up with individual and unique ideas apart from in the indie scene. Like, it seems like only the small creators are the ones that can come up with games that are, by just unique and new and refreshing.
One of the only, for me anyway, one of the most notoriously unique and just what the fuck is this? This is incredible, but so fucking weird, and I've never seen this replicated before. For me, would be something Control.
Yeah,
Control is so monumentally weird, and I still to this day don't know what the fuck it's about. The hiss, I don't know. I don't know what the hiss are, where they've come from. Why am I in this building? I don't know what's happening. My brother's here. What's going on? And that was such a good game. I'm so happy that there's a Control 2 on the way.
That was with the redhead, wasn't it?
Yeah. And she had supernatural powers where,
because I never really looked into it that much, but I knew people were going on about it.
So good. I
think was it PlayStation exclusive?
No.
Was it not?
No, it's on Steam.
Okay.
It's real fucking good. It's just...
Yeah, because I think I'm confusing it a little bit with Prey. I think it is.
Yeah.
Which is very, got the same kind of aspect of it, but I think it's not the same because there's some weird alien or whatever it is.
Control
symbiote type thing.
Control was just... I can't explain the premise of the game lore-wise because it's just so fucked up.
I think there do need to be more games that just don't explain what is going on sometimes.
Yeah,
just put out a game that goes, you're just living this story, fuck knows what truthfully is going on.
It's a tight line to get people to walk, because it's that if you... So, with Control, you load up that game, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I have no idea what's happening. I'm watching everything. I'm listening to everything. I don't know. There's some weird fucking janitor. I don't know. He speaks funny. I don't know what the fuck he wants, but he keeps popping up. It's really weird, right? There's a floating TV. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Okay, you've got that, but then you've got an incredible combat system that feels really fucking good, really cool supernatural powers. Everything about it, the combat's great, the story, the visuals, everything else about it is great. So that makes you stick around. Okay, I'm interested in this game.
Different.
I'm going to stick with it to find out what the fuck this weirdness is really about. And then you've got that unique combat style, sort of
Does it
pushing
does
you.
it drop you straight in with the power? Like, I know
No.
probably not all of the powers,
No.
but
It drops you in
with just enough to sort
kind of
have
like
a little bit of spice.
with because your one and only weapon is a gun,
Yeah.
and the gun changes. You have sort of like standard pistol, and then you can turn it into like a pistol, sniper, and shotgun, and so on. But it's like made out of like cubes.
Yeah.
So it will just swap and rotate as and when you demand it
Rubik's
to.
Cube gun, yeah.
Basically, yeah. And it sounds boring, but it's actually so fucking good. And then your weapons, you can pick up like these weird gem engram things that give it stats. So it will be like 10% headshot damage, or it'll be like more health, or like like the standard bollocks.
Yeah.
And then later on, not that later on, you start to gain your powers from like possessed items, they call them, and there's like ones that make you levitate, ones that like fucking you can pick objects up and fucking launch them, a bit like telekinesis type shit. You can like bend the mind of the enemies and turn them into like your friends and shit like that. And it just feels so good, but it's such a mind fuck to work out what is going on, because it is really odd, and the place that you're in is really odd. But because it feels and plays so good, you're more than happy to divulge into that and see what's going on. Whereas if you drop someone into a game and they have absolutely no idea what they're doing, and that game's not almost immediately engaging to play and fun, most people are going to switch off and go, no, that's not for me. It's too fucking weird.
I think unfortunately there's a lot of that now, that I tend to find if a game doesn't really take me in the first little bit, which unfortunately is quite a few games at the minute. Like Dragon's Dogma 2's kind of done that to a point where I was really struggling at the start, and then kind of like enjoyed it, and now I've hit that end game part that Ash was going on about, and I'm like, I need to take a break again. Because you don't have the time. Yeah.
You just said yourself, you don't have the time for a Souls-like game. You don't have the time to sit at home and get pissed off because you've had a long day already. You don't want to waste your time, your precious hours at home, just getting pissed off. Yeah. And begs the question: something like Dragon's Dogma, if there weren't the hype surrounding it, do you think you would have really stuck it out? If you didn't have people actively telling you, no, this game's fucking sick, this is decent, this is game of the year, blah, 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 here's all the clips, look how fucking fun this game is.
I think I would have given it a fair whack, because I played Dragon's Dogma 1 and I enjoyed that, but then I enjoyed that in a time when I had a lot more free time versus, to be honest, I don't feel like they've changed that much since the first game. Like, truthfully, they haven't changed much of any of the enemy types.
Yeah. And
the combat feels much the same. They've actually changed out some of the classes that I used to enjoy from previous game. They've just removed them. That it is a good game, but I think I've said it to you multiple times that it feels like the game is synthetic in its length, because there's no,
it's forcing.
Yeah, it's forcing you to backtrack and run around and things like that. That the fast travel is limited. That it doesn't help you to get from A to B when you've got to fight 400 monsters between A and B, and every left turn you take has got another 6 enemies to fight.
And that is exactly how me and Ash felt with Final Fantasy Online.
Yeah.
For getting through the first, like, into the first expansion. It is just synthetic. It's that go and talk to this person, and then talk to this person, go back to where you were, talk to this person, give this person some cake, now pick some apples, go and fight this person. That's all your fighting done for the next 17 hours. Go and talk to this person. It's like, you cut out this bollocks. This isn't which they are, to be fair. They're bringing in a skip when fucking Dawn Trail comes out, which cuts out a lot of that. World of Warcraft done the same thing. You start in Shadowlands if you're a brand new player, which that in itself doesn't make sense, because you, as a new player, you won't have any fucking clue what's going on. But even then, they've cut out. There's a lot of skips involved, which, I know exactly what you mean. When that when you've been forced.
I think you need your handheld just enough to point you in the right direction, especially with certain. There's been games like ESO Online I hadn't played since it dropped, and you were like, "Yeah, it's great," and I got in and went, "What am I doing? Where the fuck am I going?" Because no one's like guiding me in any direction, and there's like 14 different routes you can take.
Yeah, ESO was a weird one because I remember like when me and Steph were quite heavy into it, like searching up like, because obviously once you get ESO Plus, you have access to all of the DLC apart from the current one, which is cool. And it is like, what am I supposed to be doing here?
Yeah.
You've got the main quest, which is from like the original, and obviously you do that because number one, if you're first doing it, it's good for story, and you've got Michael Gambon that's voice acting the whole thing. And then number two, it's great for fucking skill points and leveling up. Fantastic. But then after that, it's like, okay, well, what do I do? What am I supposed to be doing here? And you ask everyone, they go, do whatever you want.
Yeah,
well, that doesn't help me. I need some direction here.
I feel like linear games that give you sandboxy linear games.
Yeah,
are very helpful.
Yeah,
and are like my preference.
Yeah, but I feel like with a live service game, especially an MMO, it's so difficult for new players to delve into that when the game is already so well established and you have so much more going on. Especially something like WoW, Final Fantasy, ESO. Even to a point like games like Lost Ark, like ARPGs and shit like that, because for a seasoned player, so me for example, I jump onto WoW, I know exactly what I'm doing. I want to get to the end game.
Yeah,
I've made a new character, bish bash bosh, level that fucker up, get to the end game. However, now it's with an outlook of, okay, let's start questioning the zones that I've never touched before because I want to enjoy it, because I know what I need to be doing. Yeah, I'm in no rush, and I know exactly where I am and how to do it.
You've done literally everything else. There's nothing else for you to do apart from the stuff that you haven't touched.
Whereas a new player,
for me, it was massively like, what am I doing?
It's overwhelming because the leveling at the moment is fucked. So you level up way too fast. So for a new player, you don't take anything in.
Yeah.
And then you're immediately thrown into Dragonflight, which is the current expansion. And you're like, I don't know what to do. And then whenever you ask anyone, it's just get to fucking level 70 and then grind gear. It's like, okay, but how do I do that? Yeah. What am I doing? I'm missing out on, and it's very, very difficult. Obviously, they're bringing out that remix on the 7th of this month, which is Mr. Pandaria, where they have assured that they've scaled it so that you will start at level 10 and then level up to 70, but they've said many times you will be able to do every single quest and every single zone and all the dungeons without exceeding that. It will be how it was in old school, where for a very, well, not even for a brief period, for a long time with WoW Classic, like vanilla, very first fucking iteration of WoW, there weren't enough quests. You finished all the quests and it wasn't enough to get you to max level. You just have to do dungeons and fucking grind and kill mobs and shit like that. And obviously that's one extreme. And now you've got the other extreme where you barely fucking touch any quests. You can just spam dungeons and then boom, boom, boom in like...
Well, what did we do for my tank that
just went into dungeons?
Get through all of them dungeons. And then
because then... Because again, you've got...
Still don't know what I'm doing.
You've got the problem of if you're playing a damage role, that's absolutely fine and is mostly recommended as a brand new player, because whether you're questing, doing PvP, or you're doing PvE, or you're doing dungeons, fucking whatever, your rotation is your rotation. You're just doing damage. You can learn that fucking doing anything. You're playing as a healer or a tank, you need group content to figure out what the fuck you're doing, but you can't do the group content as a new player because you don't know what the fuck's going on and everyone says you're shit. So as a tank, you can't just quest because you don't know what half your abilities do, because you don't need to use them because the game isn't hard enough at that point for you to warrant using them. It's very difficult. Blizzard have actively said like their new player experience is shit, which I think is decent from them to come out and say it's nowhere near where we want it to be, and we're sinking a lot of resources into making it, because I think they've they've realised that in order to continue as a company and as an MMO, you need to make it more easily accessible to new players. Because I guarantee most of the people listening to this that if they've never played WoW before wouldn't have a fucking clue if they logged in. Because you don't.
No, it's very. There's nothing to hold your hand straight away.
No.
Apart from that, if you do the new version of the tutorial area, that basically pushes you through out to
level 10, and then there you go.
And then you're dumped out in your capital city, and you're free to do whatever
with zero direction, with about 1 million quests on offer.
Isn't the best.
And you're like, I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Your favourite game though.
It is. It's my.
You can't leave it alone to play anything else.
Absolute addiction. I'm raiding tonight, and I cannot fucking wait because I'm not in work tomorrow,
jittering.
And I can fucking stay up late and kill lots of bosses and get some gear. But
meanwhile, I've got an early start.
You've got a nice early start. But we'll fucking leave it there and do the Patreon.
Oh,
nice one.
Lovely.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. See you later.
Thanks, people.
Hello.